What's going on, guys and girls? It's GhostRobo. Long time no speak. It has been a weird and wild month, and I had to take a break for a bit because of a bunch of life stuff. But I don't want to bore you with that. I want to get into the Game Awards, which are just a few days away. And I feel like this show has improved, evolved, and ascended in importance every single year. Jeff Keighley started out with a small vision and has exploded into something where I was just in LA and I saw a big billboard near LAX for the Game Awards, which I thought was pretty impressive and a really nice testament to how far this show has come. Now, there will be a lot of cool reveals. They're promising more than ever, as they like to do. And for Nintendo fans, it usually is an extra sweet deal because you get something brand new. And usually, Reggie and Co. like to put a lot of oomph into these awards. Last year, we saw Bayonetta 1, 2, and 3 unveiled for Switch. We saw the Breath of the Wild DLC Pack 2 unveiled and released that night. And this year, it seems like all of the fire is around Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC because the game comes out a few hours after the Game Awards begin. So the fact that they're so close, coincidence? Yes, but it allows for some pretty cool collaborative efforts. There's also been talks of Metroid Prime making an appearance, maybe as a collection, maybe as a tease for Metroid Prime 4, plus hopefully some super cool third-party stuff. Now, for PlayStation and Xbox, it's a bit harder to predict. Kojima and Keighley always get along well, so something Death Stranding makes a lot of sense. There's a new Rage 2 trailer, and I'm sure a bunch of other things that will be exciting. But what I want to focus on here is predictions for the awards. Now, I'll do my own awards with my own nominees, I guess, later on in the month. But for now, I want to go through and talk about each of these. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below which awards you are interested in, which ones you think are going to, which games you think are going to win the awards you're interested in, and why. And I guess also, if you even pay attention to this, I was talking to Gabe, my co-host over on Switch Force, about this, and he was saying, like, he doesn't really pay attention to them, but I feel like this year in particular, they have gained enough popularity where I'm very curious to see the outcome, see the winners, and see who gets crowned throughout these many categories. Now, some of the categories I'm not interested in at all, some I'm moderately interested in, and then a good chunk of them I think are pretty darn fascinating. And it does feel like this is the show you want to win now. And maybe that's just me, and maybe that's just perception, and the fact that Keighley is all over Twitter and all over social media promoting the heck out of this thing and sort of pumping the excitement. But it does seem like a bigger, more industry-wide deal than ever before. And I think they do a good job with the show, so long as they don't have any of the speakers go crazy. Now, let's get into the biggest category here, which is Game of the Year. I wanted to save this one for last, but what the heck, let's do it right up front. You got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, I think it's a very interesting list. The fact that Monster Hunter World and Celeste made it makes me incredibly happy, and I think this list shows how eclectic this year was in terms of quality titles in all sorts of categories and genres. And I guess I want to focus sort of more on the why behind these nominees and winners. And I think the fact that you have, RDR2 here, along with God of War, two titans, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, a yearly franchised out game that went away, came back, and a lot of people seem to love this year's iteration, even though it's less Assassin-y maybe than ever. Celeste, a total indie darling, but it's one of the best, and the fact that they were able to incorporate so much story and emotion into a 2D platformer and challenge, is super impressive. Spider-Man, taking a licensed character that previously had done pretty well, but not amazing, and now making it truly amazing. Very impressive. And Monster Hunter World, bridging that franchise towards the West and towards a much larger audience. Super, super impressive. I love the heck out of that game. I think it's freaking fantastic. And even though I'm not hardcore enough to go and grind out different monsters and grind out different gear, I think the game is a huge achievement, and it's one of the most inspiring games to play, just be from a standpoint of like what they were able to accomplish with the world and how natural and organic it all feels, almost quite literally. So what do I think happens here? God of War, I think, is going to win almost every game of the year. Now, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 will capture quite a few, but I feel like, in general, the press response to RDR2 reminds me a lot of the press response to GTA 4. And you can tell me if you disagree or if you feel otherwise, but that it started off like incredible. Like, this game is the best thing ever. And as the weeks went on, that support waned a little bit. Not entirely. No one thinks it's a bad game. It still is an incredible achievement, but I feel like it is trying to bite off so much and trying to do so much, and it legit does do so much, that maybe it doesn't feel as cohesive or as complete of an experience as God of War. For me, not to get too ahead of ourselves, but I don't know how anything beats God of War. And I'm going to do some real thinking about this, but I predict that God of War wins. I think God of War is the best game of the year, and that's what this category should be. Celeste would be a sneaky, super cool runner-up, but there's no chance, even though Matt makes games. He should be Matt makes awesome games. Spider-Man is really good, but it, for better or worse, is, I think, outshined by God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2. Monster Hunter World, it's nice to get on there. I'm sure Capcom is super pleased, but I don't think it or Assassin's Creed Odyssey have a chance. So my pick is God of War. Best ongoing game is for games that evolve over time. I don't think we really need to look at this. It's Fortnite. They do incredible work there. Epic Games is just literally drowning in money, and it continues. Season 7 is right around the corner, and it's going to be Fortnite. No Man's Sky, like, cool that it gained some popularity again, but come on. Siege has a very dedicated fan base, probably same with Overwatch. Destiny 2, nope, but it's going to be Fortnite. Best game direction, this one is an interesting category. It's talking about creative vision and innovation. Now, A Way Out really has creative vision and innovation, but I thought that game disappointed. To me, I did not like this new one from Hazelight Studios and EA. I played like the first couple hours, and that was enough for me. I love Detroit Become Human. I think that Quantic Dream, I know sometimes there's controversy around David Cage and the company, but I love Detroit Become Human. I think it's one that will be forgotten in 2018 just because of all the other massive games and specifically massive Sony exclusives that surrounded it, but it should not be. It's fantastic. It is a really cool experience, and I did not feel like it was dumbed down or ham-fisted like a lot of people did. I found it to be very believable and very... Like, I could tell the passion and the intentionality that went into the game, and I really like that about it. Spider-Man, again, taking a character that is very well known, but delivering an interesting take, delivering a very heartfelt storyline. Good. Red Dead Redemption 2, a billion things going on, but maybe that's to its detriment. So I would love to see Detroit Become Human win, but God of War, honestly, is such a perfect tweaking of that series, right? Because God of War, it did tweak, and I think that gets forgotten, the fact that it is hitting God of War beats, but it is a new take on God of War, and it sets God of War up for a new trilogy in a new style and a new way, and does this hybrid open world with great linear segments and a really cool storyline, a lot of great character work and dialogue, beautiful graphics, beautiful worlds, great combat, exciting twists, some nice surprises, and it's, to me, the most rewarding game on the list, and should win again. Best Narrative, Detroit Become Human, God of War, Life is Strange 2 Episode 1, Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2. Here's where I could see maybe God of War not winning if you're not into the whole Norse mythology. This could be a Red Dead Redemption 2 thing just because it's such a big storyline, and I know a lot of people loved aspects of that. Spider-Man is a pretty tight storyline. It's short, it's sweet, it's simple. I mean, it's not short the game, but just like the plot that it hits is a little shorter. I don't think Life is Strange 2, I didn't like that. Sad. I like Max and Chloe so much more. Detroit Become Human, and also this is just episode 1. Detroit Become Human, I think, is a good story, but I know people don't like it, so to me this is going to be... It could be God of War again, honestly. This could just have a rolling sweep for Sony Santa Monica, but I'm going to say that this is where Red Dead picks it up. Art Direction, Creative and Technical Achievement, Artistic Design and Animation, AC Odyssey, God of War, Octopath Traveler, Red Dead, Return of the Obra Dinn. I like the look of this game. It's on my must-play list before the end of the year. Haven't got to it yet. I think this is going to be God of War again. I mean, it could be Red Dead. Red Dead, well, it should be Red Dead. God of War looks great and is very cohesive, but Red Dead is doing such impressive things with, I think the entire world and how lively it is. Because this is also technical. Well, it's and or. So, God of War, Red Dead, maybe Red Dead. Best Score Music presented by Spotify. Celeste, God of War, Spider-Man, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath, Red Dead Redemption. I really like the Celeste music. I don't know what's going to win. I would pick Celeste. Music seems so much more subjective than a lot of these other categories, so I'll go with Celeste. Audio design, I'm going to skip over that one. That one's hard for me to pick. Best performance, this is a cool one. For your voice acting, motion capture, performance capture type of peoples, you've got Connor from Detroit, you've got Kratos from God of War, Cassandra from AC Odyssey, Arthur from Red Dead, Peter Parker from Spider-Man. I mean, Peter Parker could be a fan favorite and sort of have a nice feel-good swell there that propels it to victory. So I could see that. I know a lot of people like Arthur, so I'm going to say that we stay down here with either Arthur or Peter Parker. I'm going to say Peter Parker. I think he nails it. There's some really good humor, some really good cringy, corny moments. It's just overall like such a great realization of the character and such a great iteration of the character. This is an interesting category. For a thought-provoking game with a profound pro-social meaning or message. A lot of these are really good. I think Florence is really interesting and appealing. I don't know anything about the Missing or 11/11 Memories Retold, but I think Celeste really does a great job. To me, it should win because it's thought-provoking in that it takes a 2D platformer with a lot of challenge and a lot of strawberries, and yet delivers a story that has a plot that has impact on an emotional level and on a mental health level. Depression, anxiety definitely appear here, and I think they're handled well and with respect, but also in like a fun video game way, and they even minigame out breathing, which I think is pretty cool, so I would give it to Celeste. Florence is my runner-up. Best independent game, Celeste, Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Return of the Oberdin, The Messenger. This is a good category. I think we instantly knock out Messenger and Oberdin. Celeste, Dead Cells, and Into the Breach, a great trio. Subset makes fantastic games. FTL, Into the Breach, they're phenomenal. This game is amazing. I should have played so much more of it this year. Dead Cells has been around for a while, but it's awesome. I think that might hurt it, though, just in terms of the voting, just the fact that it feels like it has been there forever. Celeste or Into the Breach, I'd be happy with either. I'm going to go with Celeste again. Best mobile game, Donut County, Florence, Fortnite, PUBG, Reigns, Game of Thrones. To me, this should be Florence because I think it utilizes the medium in such a really cool, interesting way and is very fun and fresh and captures a very heartfelt story as well. I like that a lot. But maybe it'll be Fortnite. The fact that they were able to, from a technical standpoint, pull that off and found pretty impressive. I would say it's one of the two. Best VR AR game. This one I have no real feel on, but I hear that Astrobot Rescue Mission is awesome and people seem to love that. Therefore, it makes sense that, I don't know. I mean, I guess Beat Saber has gotten a lot of love. I've seen that on Twitter as well. Tetris Effect seems to be more of a press darling. So I'm going to say Astrobot wins. That would be pretty cool. It seems like such a cutesy kitty game, but apparently it's amazing. One of the best games of the year. I ordered it on Black Friday. I've yet to pop it in, but I do need to check that out before things are done. Best action game, Black Ops 4, Dead Cells, Destiny 2 Forsaken, Far Cry 5, Mega Man 11. If they wanted to be real weird and wacky, I'd give it to Mega Man 11 because I think it's a really good reintroduction of the character, the franchise, and incorporating new mechanics without feeling like it's pulling too much in the nostalgic direction or too much in the new direction. And after Mighty Number 9, holy crap, this was a really nice breath of not fresh air, but familiar air. It should probably be Black Ops 4. Dead Cells is great, but Black Ops 4 pulled off quite a bit without having a single player and incorporating the Battle Royale in a really incredible way. Like, they didn't do anything that amazingly new, but they did pull it off in a super effective way. Zombies is great this year. That's just like a super sound package all around. Best action adventure, a little hard to tell the difference there, but we're gonna roll through. Tomb Raider, interesting nominee. I haven't heard like hardly anything great about the game. Like it's fun. It's Tomb Raider again, but it's so weird how that franchise kind of just dwindled as it progressed. Like the first one was Welcome Back with so much excitement, and even the second one, I feel like Rise had so much buzz. Shadow just it kind of pitter-pattered out, but this has got to be God of War. Best RPG, Dragon Quest XI, Monster Hunter World, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, Pills of Eternity. I would give it to Monster Hunter World. I think they had the freshest take on that genre, and even though it is the least like the genre, it's to me the most impressive and the most fun. Fighting game, this probably is not my category to comment on, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Fighters, just since that had so much momentum behind it, especially early on. Best family game, here's one that I like. Mario Tennis Aces, Nintendo Labo, Overcooked 2, Starlink, Mario Party. Well, Mario Tennis Aces to me is not really a family game. It's pretty intense, actually, and going online, you're going to get your butt beat. Labo, it's a cute and clever idea that to me is more fun to build than play, but it is an experimental idea and one that I don't think necessarily holds a ton of quality. It's more like, wow, that was innovative. And this doesn't, it's not really about being innovative. Starlink is really good. It's a new take on Toys to Life. It doesn't seem like it sold that well. They chopped it so cheap on Black Friday. It makes me nervous and worried for them, but I think it's an actual good game. It's probably the best game, the game behind Toys to Life that we've seen. I really, really, really like that a lot. Super Mario Party, that was one that started off seeming like, hey, this is a return to the true Mario Party games that we loved back on the N64 and GameCube. And the more I played, the more I realized that no, it is a half step. And the next Super Mario Party 2, I really hope brings it all the way back, because they're like almost there, but not quite. I will take DLC boards though, thank you. My pick would be Overcooked 2. I think the Overcooked franchise is phenomenal. I think it is incredibly fun. I think it has such a nice mix of co-op, but there's just a tinge of competition in there. It's the most silly, over the top, gets you talking and laughing game, so I would give it to Overcooked 2, but I expect maybe Labo wins? I don't know, maybe Overcooked 2 has enough pull. I don't know, the fact that it's indie, I'm not sure if there's enough love there, but I don't know what else would win on this list. I mean, Tennis Ace I think is good. I don't view it as a family game. It's pretty hardcore, especially the way that online sort of evolved and how people play. Best strategy game, Banner Saga 3, Battletech, Frostpunk, Into the Breach, Valkyria. I pick Into the Breach. Sports Racing, FIFA, Forza Horizon 4, Mario Tennis, NBA 2K19. I'd love to see Tennis Aces win here, but it's not going to. Probably 2K19 or Forza Horizon 4. They did a really nice job this year. It's a gorgeous game. There's a ton of content there. So I don't know. I'm not a big soccer fan, so those aren't really for me. I would go with one of these middle three, and I'll say that Forza wins it. Best multiplayer game, Black Ops 4. If you see Fortnite, I feel like it's gonna win. Sea of Thieves is, to me, a silly nominee. I know that some people liked it early on, but come on, really? Like, that game, that was a Game Pass glory fest for a month, and then I think I don't hear anyone talking about that anymore at all. So it's Fortnite. Student game, I don't know anything of. That's a really cool category there. Best debut indie game is the last one that we'll discuss. Donut County, Florence, Moss, The Messenger, Yoku's Island Express. I'm happy to see Villa Gorilla get a mention here. Yoku's Island Express is a really cool creative game, taking pinball and merging it with a Metroidvania style experience. Very, very cool. Very, very clever. I'd love to see them win just for the sake of how awesome I think they did. And it's a pretty polished game. I've heard that it's not the greatest by the end. The Messenger is really good, but it's doing something from that's so well established and so rote that I don't know that it should win. Moss, interesting VR title. Florence, to me, like, who am I most curious to see the next project from? It's the Mountains, and the people did Florence, so that's where I'd give it to. I know a lot of people have a soft spot for Donut County, so that might win as well, but Florence would be good. The rest of the categories we're down here are like esports and then individual people and things like that, events, specific hosts, things of that sort that I know nothing about. Content Creator of the Year, here, it's How can it not be Ninja? Fortnite and Ninja are going to win a ton of awards, and I predict God of War wins a ton of awards as well, or at least it should. I think it might surprise people, or at least maybe before the year started, it would surprise people to say that God of War will sort of notably outpace Red Dead in terms of awards, but I think that's kind of how things have gone. I know the online beta is working well for a lot of folks right now, and they're having fun, but I just feel like, yes, there's obviously a whole ton of uproar around Red Dead, and there was at launch, and it's very impressive and very good, but I just feel like God of War delivered a near-perfect package. It's kind of like the epitome of video games in this era and in this generation, and it should reap all the rewards at that. But let me know in the comments down below which games you think are going to win, which awards, which game you think will take the most awards, and if you even care about this show and pay attention to it. Are you there for the awards, or are you just there for the reveals? I feel like in the past, this was all about just, what kind of new game trailers are there going to be, and will Nintendo make some cool announcements? But it feels like, and maybe I'm off base, but it feels like there is more of an emphasis on the actual awards and on the winners, and that they will maybe gain more clout than they had in years past. So let me know your take in the comments down below, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Drink so much chocolate. Until next time, I love you, and we'll see you all later.